Hi, this is Shirish Kulkarni, founder and CEO of Stroth Consulting, which is a business consulting company focusing on small and medium businesses growth for last 5 years. And with this new concept called as Hatke, we are looking at talking to eminent personalities in education and other verticals, manufacturing, business owners, laureates, people who actually are standing as role models. And we have a great privilege today to have Dr. Nitin Karmalkar, who is the Vice Chancellor of Savitribai Phule, Pune University, to be along with us. I have a great honor to have you being part of this, Doctor. Wonderful to have you.
Pleasure.
Right. Talking about this situation, many people are talking about this as it's a difficult situation, it's a challenge situation. So in your perspective, Doctor, what do you think is the way that you are looking at it at the helm of the Pune University? How do you look at it?
Okay. Being in the education part for last 30, 40 odd years, yes, it is certainly a challenging situation, but at the same time, I always look this as an opportunity.
Okay.
The reason being basically education, olden times wherein it was chalk and talk kind of technology that we had adopted to, or rather were adopting, and wherein obviously there used to be one-to-one dialogue, which probably will have to go for a hybrid model with all these restrictions like social distance, some distance. So making gatherings is going to be difficult. And therefore in the class, it will be more of an hybrid kind of a education model that we must go for. And therefore, obviously, a more impetus would be going digital, going basically creating a platform through which major dissemination of knowledge can happen through the e-content development or through e-classes as such. This I consider it as an opportunity as such, because we've been talking about that it needs to be done and so on and so forth, especially in a country of this size, wherein obviously education is one of the important sort of a pillar, and wherein in fact if you look at the gross enrollment ratio in the higher education, it hardly comes to about 24 or 25%.
Okay.
Level. So we have not been able to reach to the masses actually. And to reach to the masses, obviously there would be requirement of new sort of a universities with new this thing. Instead, basically going digital perhaps would minimize this kind of an investment, going for a physical investment in the infrastructure. Instead, a digital infrastructure, a digital platform through which perhaps we can reach to the masses. There are bound to be little difficulties. Generally, I've been told that, especially in the rural sector, there will be issues like the bandwidth or the networking and so on and so forth. So it's a time we should actually put in more efforts in making this particular platform robust and basically more investment in making this particular platform more reachable, even poor class in rural areas. So this I consider to be an opportunity. Then secondly, obviously, as we look at the economy part, which is dwindling, 1.5 months almost we've been in lockdown. Last 36 days, the industries are generally nothing happening. They've been asked to do work from home, but basically, barring the IT sector, perhaps no one can do that kind of thing.
Manufacturing is all stopped, yeah.
And therefore, obviously, the overall economy will take a severe hit as such. But again, that is going to create an opportunity as such. Perhaps it would get more localized also. We have been seeing like things that are coming from, I don't want to make specific sort of a naming the countries as such, but certain things that PPA thing and all which we had received, we had to reject them. So how giving a more impetus in doing local manufacturing, doing those things locally and make the supply kind of thing as such. health point of view, obviously, India been, although in a not very developed country, the kind of basically culture that we follow, wherein obviously hygiene has always been given a great sort of a impetus sort of. Uh, when we look at basically the numbers that are number of deaths and or the way it has to an extent affected the European community, the Western community, the America and all that. Prior to that, in fact, the initial mathematical modeling about the COVID spread in India, the figure that I was getting, I was flabbergasted looking at those figures. But we could able to minimize them, the reason being the kind of lifestyle that we follow. And perhaps the reason we escaped that kind of a damage as such. So very proactive measures in some respect perhaps, and the culture that we follow perhaps have kept us going as such. So in the other countries, look at them like God only help them out. Like, so that's the situation as such. So in that respect, I am happy to be in India and to be at the helm of affairs of an education institute.
Wow.
I think I see a great future, in fact, going digital, going for innovation, incubation, startup culture, because immediately you won't be looking for any jobs as such. But this is a time wherein you can put in your own ideas into practice, sort of. And that is what I'm promoting. In fact, I would like to give a small example.
Please.
In this lockdown period, I made a simple appeal to all my students that to get over this particular sort of a situation, how in what way we can help this society out. Like, can you do something very innovative and all that? I was told that the ventilators basically are in shortage. The overall hospital capacity is in shortage as such. And one of the students took it as this thing as a challenge. He wrote to me. It was 12 o'clock in the night. I received a WhatsApp saying that, sir, I can really do that. Fellow gentleman coming from a technology department, in just 25 odd days, a wonderful respirator, a ventilator built. I got it tested at Sassoon, and the doctor, the physician out there were overwhelmed. The kind of basically things, nitty-gritties is yet put in that particular instrument with a touch screen and with all the parameters that can be monitored and all that, simple to operate and so forth. And now the manufacturing has started. So 5 units we will get installed at 5 major hospitals. And then today, in fact, I got a message from him. He's applying for export. So this is what one can do. Like, if you have innovative mind, certainly you can make use of this particular time as such. And then you can put in your best efforts, whatever innovative ideas that you have. And then obviously the Prime Minister at the national level also is talking about Startup India, Stand Up India. This is a real time basically. This is an opportunity where we can utilize and really stand up at the national level, at the international level.
Wonderful. I think that is definitely areas in which, if at all we look at the situation as an opportunity, I think those ideas definitely will start germinating. And you gave a good example of the respirator, or the way that it helps breathing. I think that is an example where even I'm finding one of the IT companies is investing on it. One of the auto manufacturers is also investing on the incubator part of it. So I think moving forward, I just had this question in my mind, and what is keeping you moving and so inspired and so positive in this context, Doctor?
See, it would sound a little philosophical, but I'm a great follower of Swami Vivekananda.
Okay.
And I've been reading his books, and he has made a great impact on me. So, and especially whatever writing, whatever literature that is available, through which the time in which basically he took the entire nation along, and that you're just not spiritual. He was also talking about the westernization, the Western basically not in westernization, not with respect to culture, but technological advancement that was happening in the other part of the world. Somewhere that should get mimicked, somewhere it should come down to India. So that is what an effort he made. And this particular moment, I'm finding it like, see, these things are not there, this is missing, this is, we can't do and all that. So we have to give up that kind of a mindset. We can do everything perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the require willpower, nothing beyond that, and someone standing behind you. And I'm that someone who is willing to stand behind every one of you, and let's do it together. We can do it. It's not really hard nut to crack. We can certainly take this country forward, take the society forward. Innovation, any great idea that you carry, yes, you come forward, you start walking a step, I'll walk before you. So that is what culture that I kept. In fact, although at the Education Institute, I've been asked to work from home, but perhaps I'm always on the field. In fact, when PhD was finding it difficult, so I approached them. So because of my position as a vice chancellor, perhaps I had an access to them. I said, let's do it together. I can put in about, say, 10 industries and 25 scientists together. Let's make a small group. And incidentally, Pune recently been given the status of the only city having a knowledge cluster. There are 4 cities PM has identified under the NITI Aayog. And the approval came just during the time of COVID as such. So I sensitized all of them. I said, let's come together. Let's help out PMC. That much we can do it. And couple of meetings we had, making a makeshift kind of hospital, how to basically take the samples, what innovation that we can bring in basically to reduce the transfer of this disease from one person to the other, what kind of protection that are required. So all those nitty-gritty we've been discussing together. There are 25 odd people coming from different industries, including big industries like Persistence System, Maratha Chamber of Commerce, their chairman, ICER, so many people. So it is so this thing interesting to work with them, and I could see like every individual intends to give his bit in this difficult time, and that is what basically unites me, or rather makes me united and get me going as such. So this is a situation where yes, collect, although there is social distancing, that's yes, emotionally we should get more attached towards each other, and keeping that social distance, we certainly can overcome this particular difficult time. So there is no need to get panicky. Don't be totally get gloomy about it. Situation is going to change. We have the example. Look at Japan during the Second World War. What was the situation? Look at America, like the way they came out after the Vietnam War. So there are great examples in front, and so not all that worst out here. We are still doing better things as compared to the Western countries. Certainly, there is a time for us, and perhaps we should look this as an opportunity to stand erect in the world as such. We can lead the world.
My goodness. Wonderful thoughts, wonderful thoughts. See, there is always a talk that, the education, there is a gap between, so-called gap between education and the industry. I see that as you are speaking, it's completely diffused, and you have industry and education coming together to join hands. And that is the strength. I believe that is what you are trying to say. And that will emerge not only in this difficult situation, but eventually, because then we are more close to what the industry wants in the form of the students that you are building, the raw material in the form of human power that you are building. And I think that relevancy is going to be really the key way that our industry gets successful, right, Doctor?
Certainly, certainly. This is a time basically we keep on talking about the industry 4.0 and all that, but somewhere it's not coming into the syllabus part as such. We are still sticking to our old traditional syllabus, wherein we need to go for a substantial change, and that's the reason I'm bringing industry on the campus. There is a company called C4I4, which to an extent actually have done a kind of a model about a smart industry. So sensor based and basically digital based industry. So I'm putting entire, I've given them a space on the campus saying that my student will work as an intern. I'm giving a free space and let me understand what best we can do for the industry through my student force. You have ideas to implement them, to take them forward. I have a force with me. So let's basically do a hand holding, a sort of a sharing ideas and force together. Perhaps we can do better things, and that is how basically it's been happening. In fact, the concept that the knowledge city cluster that I spoke about, that is so good, wherein actually there's a visibility that is happening on a single platform to the industry, to the academic institutions as such. So what practices I have, what best facilities I have, what is the kind of research that I'm doing, what industry is expecting, industry is projecting what they want on the same portal. So there is a sharing that is happening as such. And the very first meeting I remember that happened a year before, 50 odd industries from Pune basically came together. So if a call is given, yes, we can work together. Gone are those days, the working in silos and all that. That is not going to work as such. We have to peep out of our campuses, mix it with the society, understand what are the expectations of the society, and then accordingly work and put in our efforts to make the best of the things for the society, for the benefit of humankind.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think I see completely positive and influential thoughts coming and touching us. Really, really pleased with that. But just getting question, sir, is there no word called as difficult, impossible in your dictionary? Is that you don't have these words like impossible or difficult or not possible kind of?
Again, it would sound little this thing, but the way I have been brought up, I would say I come from a very down to earth, a very
humble background,
moderate, or I would say middle class, lower middle class family. From there, I was the only son who came out of the house and for education purpose came down to Pune way back in 1984. And since then, every time I've seen a struggle that is happening, whether it with respect to basically job, this, that. But I kept smiling. I said, this is bound to happen. This is life. We have to face it. And that is how, despite all that, despite all odds, I could get educated, basically do my postdoctoral work at Sydney in Australia, Germany at institute like Max Planck. And those were the days where I could see that I don't have a job. The job is of a temporary nature. The employer is not allowing me to go beyond 6 months. I said, come what may, 6 months is a good thing for me. I can do plenty good things in 6 months. And that has kept me going sort of. So I'm basically the terrain, being a geology person, always have traveled in places like Himalaya has been my favorite place. I've been working throughout my lifetime. I have spent in Himalaya. And despite the fact I'm presently occupying the VC's position, every year I make it a point that I spend at least 10 days with my students in the field in Himalayas. Himalaya is something very inspiring. Those towering sort of peaks in front of them, you are so little, you are so tiny.
Oh my God.
Then you understand basically the importance of life as such. And that is how always kept me going as such. So I really don't find it all that difficult. Every time I get questions, students been asking about when are the examinations happening, how the examination will take place, how about our future and all. I said, kids, keep smiling. I'm there. Other people are there. There is a committee working at the national level, committee working at the state level. We'll see to it your future is secured. But secured in the sense basically just from the point of view giving you knowledge. But my expectation is something beyond that. Knowledge basically is just knowledge. Dissemination is not the job of an education institute. Generating new knowledge, new technology, that has to be basically a objective of any education institute, and not necessarily only we should look towards IITs. Even a university can do that.
Absolutely.
And especially when I was such a 7.5 lakh student getting enrolled for their graduation, where is the dearth of human resource sort of? So put them, just polish them, and then just enthuse them. That is what is required.
Wonderful.
And the kids are very smart. They can do wonders. They can create wonders. So basically, just giving, channelizing in them. That is what is required. And once that has been done, we'll be in the right track, and this country has a great future.
Wonderful. You know, I was just going through your profile, and I found some words on which you have done PhD and a lot of research. Ingenious petrology and petrography. These are honestly sounding, you know, I'm an engineer, but sounding like Greek and Latin. Could you throw some light on it, and also help us understand how it is relevant and most important in the current state and in the future state also?
See, the kind of rock that I'm working, basically igneous means come out of fire.
Okay.
So, but these are the rocks, basically everything that we see on the planet Earth that has come from the womb of this planet Earth as such. This material also, the igneous, has come from interior as such. Okay. And then it is the things. The diamond that we speak of is actually the gold that we generally strive hard for to strive hard for. That is also located rather deposit, or these rocks are the repositories for it. Uranium, basically, that we generally make use of it for the purpose of energy and many for weaponaries and all that. That again actually is occurring in these rocks. So basically, everything that we see on this planet Earth actually has come from within. The shaping and everything has happened only because of some very earth disturbing movements as such. During this entire churning process, basically, the kind of rock that got developed, which I have actually attracted me the most. Himalaya is basically known for it. Himalaya, people say that it was once in an ocean floor and that has been uplifted. So obviously, those are the rock types where I spent lots of my life in looking at them from basically its origin point of view, from its economic importance as such. I think the trace element, the RE, the elements, all those basically which connect such a big country these days, the RE, rare earth element, those are actually being basically found in these rocks.
Wow.
If we are innovative, if you put in efforts in unraveling these sort of hidden things, perhaps we have the potential and we can make use of these things also in taking this country forward.
Superb, superb. I think you are sounding, as I've been interacting with you, inspiration in itself, the way that you've looked at your life. And it's a great thing that you have been given an opportunity and you're taking that to for shaping of the minds and the raw material that is required for the industry. So I'm talking about the manufacturing industry and other industry. And there is a great amalgamation of efforts coming together in the form of you becoming the bridge and the person who is a catalyst to really drive that and making sure that those links are getting connected, those dots are connected. I was just thinking about a couple of large thoughts maybe, but what is that you want to say manufacturing industry? What do you want to say to your staff, the people who are teachers or professors? What do you want to say to the students? How do you want to see them to really look up and look positive? What is the kind of message that you want to give, sir?
I really don't remember a tagline as such, but yes, basically I would say that don't be optimistic, don't be pessimistic. Be optimistic, and yes, whatever. In fact, consider this instead of considering this as a threat, consider this as an opportunity. Try molding yourself basically, and channelize yourself in the new world, because it's going to be a little different than what we enjoyed previously, and get prepared for that. So basically, keep updated, keep alert yourself, and then think of like what best you can put in to make this new world comfortable, sort of.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I must thank you, Doctor. I just requested for this meeting in the morning. Within a couple of hours, we said that Shubhasya Shigram, and you are on board. And I must thank you for your time, the kind of insights you've shared, and amazing. It is going to be inspirational for all. I'm sure that more and more industries will come and put their hands forward to see that bridge happening between academia and industry, to make all the knowledge that is getting built and all the raw material in the form of students that we have, the strength that we have, being utilized by them for making further progress. So thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you so very much. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and our best wishes for Savitribai Phule Pune University for doing well and well and well, for its prosperity, and whatever we could do. And I would like to also stay in touch. Whatever I could personally do, I would definitely like to do. Marathit म्हणतात खारीचा वाटा.
Yeah.
Whatever small bit I can do, I'm definitely going to offer it. Thank you so much, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.